And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Mecca of Banter podcast. I am tonight's host Bucci Main, and let me tell you, we had a juicy weekend of Premier League footy that we have to discuss. And let me tell you, I'm gonna introduce a man, a myth, a legend, a guy who can bench press more than all of us combined, a guy who is just an absolute beauty of a human being.
You talking about me again?
Yes, I was talking about you, you sexy boy. No, but we got Mr. Nathaniel Griffin in the chat tonight. Guest appearance filling in for Lucas Winkleman. How we doing, Griff? Good to see you, bro.
Never better, man. Since the last time I was on, we've just done this. So and so many good games this weekend, man. I can't wait.
Wait, wasn't the last time you were on? Weren't you talking dynasty talks? I would say that you've probably taken a little bit of a dip since the last time you were on, eh?
That was the three times before, actually. And the dynasty, started here. We're slowly creeping up. Don't worry.
Was it pre or post collapse? They're two different eras.
Yeah.
This collapse or the last year's one?
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps you got to be in the top two, folks. That's all I'm going to say there.
He said he's top two, definitely not one, but he's top two.
Griff, it's great to have you here tonight, brother. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on the Arsenal game here in a few minutes. But let's send it over to the man who got a win this weekend. You know, Nick Haflinger, the Chelsea Blues. Man, holy shit, you won another game, man. How are you feeling?
Yeah, an interesting one over the weekend, but 3 points is 3 points. I think I am on the roller coaster that Hoove always talks about, and boy, is it interesting. So you can find me on Twitter at Hafey4. But hey, like I said before, 3 points is 3 points. And we are still in the top half, so I'm happy.
Yes, sir. Great to see you as always. And that's a great transition over to Hoove. Hoove, how the hell are you, bro, after yesterday, man?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. We also got a 3-3 win. It was gigantic. A couple points. You're totally disrespecting my bench press. You have no idea how much I'm bench pressing these days. My numbers are up. And Pochettino had us on a roller coaster even in 2019. So Nikki, I totally understand. But I'm happy to be here, lads. I've got plenty to say. So let's rip.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts, Hoove, after yesterday's Tottenham City game, man. That was a roller coaster of a game, as you always say, brother. Lastly, we've got our two United boys. We're going to start it off with Mr. Dobby. Dobby. How are you, bro, after this weekend, man? You freaking bot.
Just as every weekend, it's a great weekend to be a Bielefeld fan. Nice 1-1 draw for the lads this weekend. Coming off of 3 draws in a row, we're trending upward. So happy to be here. Looking forward to talking a little German Bundesliga 3 with you guys. So happy to be here. Ready to dive in. Good to see you all.
For those not watching on YouTube, he's wearing an Arminia Bielefeld jersey. His favorite team, like it's always been.
Loud and proud, baby. Loud and proud.
Yes. And last but not least, we have the best Nike manager in the Midwest. The guy who just does it all. He's him, Henry Wind.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Henry Wind here. You can find me on Twitter at Henry Wind. It's a great week to be a Manchester United fan, fellas. It's a great week. It's another week. I wouldn't want to support any other club. Couldn't support any other club, even if I wanted to, So got to work with what we've got. I'm excited to be here. What a weekend of footy, just in general. So many goals to talk about, unless we're talking about Manchester United. So I'm excited to talk about all of the games this weekend. A lot of stuff.
I think you hit it perfectly, Hen. Like the goals and the quality of the goals that we saw this weekend were absurd, absolutely absurd. And we're going to start off with, speaking of quality, we're going to start off with Arsenal and Wolves as our first game. We get to let Griff just let it rip here right off the get-go of this episode. Griff, tell us your thoughts of the game before we kind of, throw our spin zones at you, because it's coming from Dobby. So just, give us what you think here.
I think it sucks. Wolves thought Pedro Neto was like a different Wolves side almost, but I think the first 45 minutes were one of the best halves we played all year, regardless of for the opponent. But like, I can't remember a shot they had. I mean, we took it to them, especially after midweek Champions League game, and kept most of the same team. Two beautiful goals, Saka involved. It's a shame to give up a goal like that with Zinchenko at the end. I mean, he's done that a few times this season, and I think what you'll see when we go play Liverpool and some of the bigger teams is they'll put Tomiyasu on the left side and Ben White on the right if he can, just for those reasons alone. But when we play teams with deep block, you have to play Zinchenko with what he allows to unlock everything. And you saw it with the second goal and flying, man. Top of the league, top of the Champions League. I don't take anything for granted, so I'm enjoying it while we're here. And I mean, I think every team's an injury away from tough spot, but right now we're flying, man. So I don't know how you can spin the last few weeks from us. I mean, we play Luton tomorrow and Liverpool in
Tough
2
place to
weeks,
play.
so
Tough place to play.
the fans are on you there. But man, all in all, happy, man. Happy. It was kind of a boring watch. It was so controlled the first 60 minutes, and then once they scored in the 87th or whatever it was a little bit hectic, but saw it out. And
Man, that's the problem with Arsenal. You all come out flying often. You score a good goal. It's pretty. Both goals were beautiful. They were so nice to watch. But then you all just kind of make it a little shaky in the second half. And like early parts of the season, that's fine, but that gets you in trouble as you get to the business end of the season, as you're well aware of. And if you're not aware, I can remind you. But I think you are well aware of that.
Jorginho came out, Jorginho of all people, who's talking from the bench, was like, we need to be more clinical in the second half. And like, he's right though. To be fair, there's a few games. The Fulham a game we tied up 2-0, give up a shit goal, and then it's a scramble. You know, everyone knows 2-1. The last 10 minutes, it's just going to be a scramble, man. So especially again, most teams really can hurt you in set pieces, counterattacks, whatever it is. So that's the only like point you can take away where you're like, we just got to be a little better. I think Mikel's more than likely on him about it. And I think they just got a little cocky. Like, I think it was a little bit of like, oh, we're playing some champagne football. Now we can kind of sit back and just ride it out. But most teams in the Prem, especially this year, are dangerous enough. You give them enough time or you sit back enough, you don't keep the intensity up, they're going to hurt you some way. So you're totally right. Other than that, though, I mean, solid performance from the lads. And the one thing I did want to say, because you guys keep bringing up last year, you know, we hear it. I get it. Last year we were happy to be there. You know, no one expected us. Did anyone have us in the top two last year? I probably doubted. Maybe not even myself. This year it's like, okay, now we're here to stay, man. So,
Do we want to cement that in writing? Do we want to say December 4th? I'm pretty sure we can look back on
Part 2.
Yeah, I wonder when the Dynasty one came out.
It's
probably around this time.
Dynasty treble. Did I hear treble?
I said this to Dobes today because it was him or somebody was like, "Do you think they'll win the league?" And I was like, "You can ask any team at this point in the season if they're going to win the league, and they'll all be like, I hope so.' But like, you're injury away from tough bug. Yeah, I got you. Who Spurs have fought the bug, but there's every team that has one player that their backup is such a drop that it kills the whole team over the course of 20 games. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to be like, oh, we're going to win. But like, we get 3 injuries to 3 key players and the backups suck. It's like, it changes your intensity, it changes everything. So if we can stay healthy, I think we're dangerous.
Sounds like you're using this injury argument to like kind of like of your lack of confidence is what it sounds like to me. It's like, well, if we do get hurt, we may not do it.
And then when it happens, you can be like, remember, guys, I said.
Injuries, I told you so.
Well, there are legit. You look at the Prem, there are 4 or 5 teams that are solid teams. Like right now, it's a race. I mean, I think we should all be excited that there's an actual race and it's not City fucking up 12 points and we're all like, well, next year's gonna be great. Next year's gonna be great.
Hey, Griff, I gotta ask you because you're not here every week. So you said that Arsenal's a first half team. They don't play as strong in the second half. Do you think that that's the biggest difference between you and City? Is that because what we saw from City yesterday against Spurs, I don't think that's normal for them to give up. They give up the lead twice, and that doesn't really happen very often. Look at
wonder what
who.
that is. Huh?
So, do you
Oh,
think
the
that's the
king.
biggest difference between your team, between Arsenal and City's, is this the second half mentality from City?
We were scoring in the first half more in the second half, but this season it's reversed. We hadn't had a goal in the first 15 minutes all season before, I think Saturday, if I'm correct on that. So it was good to see us actually get after it early and score, because we've had a lot of 1-0 wins where we've scored second half late. So City have a different quality of players in different spots. Like, we don't have a Bernardo Silva type, and they have certain different things that are different. But I think the depth they have is key for how they play. Even though against Spurs, it so man, City seem on a different path this year, man. I know we'll get to it later, but
Said that
it doesn't seem
last
like
year.
City old.
Yeah. I mean,
That's true. That's true. That's true.
I just want to remind you, it was March 2nd when the Dynasty episode came out. So
Oh, that's
3 months,
electric.
3 months further down the line from where you are right now, you made that statement.
The
I'm going to defend it, because a dynasty incurs a long period of time. It's not one season.
And
Dynasty starts with
It
the
also
fucking
requires
title.
titles. Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Hey, to be fair, it was a question mark at the end of that episode. It was not a statement. It was
No.
Yes.
Mecca moments, the
Maybe,
Arsenal, the
maybe.
beginning of a dynasty.
Oh.
Period.
Damn.
Facts.
I'll tell you this, though. I'll end with this. Because I know we talk about Arsenal a lot. I wouldn't rather be any other team in the league right now than us. So, thank you.
Bro, you're 1 to 2 injuries from disaster.
Yeah, I'm saying.
The only team in this
You said it
league
yourself.
that actually has depth is City. So I would personally want to beat them. But I get the sentiment.
Well, regardless, Griff, congratulations on a good win. 2-1 win for Arsenal on Saturday morning. We're going to move on here to Newcastle, Manchester United. And the tune, Newcastle United with a 1-0 win over the Red Devils. Henry and Dubs, which one of you guys wants to start today? How are we feeling?
I got the Bielefeld section.
What I'll say is, thank God it was 1-0. We could have conceded so many goals in the first half. I think, a loss is a loss. 0 points is 0 points is 0 points. We will look back on that result at the end of the season with however the season goes and say it could have been worse and perhaps should have been worse. So I'm glad that it was only one. I was glad to see Luke Shaw playing that left center back option. I know that we've been on here and been complimentary of Maguire over the last couple of weeks. He's played well. I thought that he had some unbelievable blocks in this game, but I think the thing that kind of gets, covered up whenever he's playing is just the lack of a high line. We couldn't even break it out of our own half because we have to play so far pinned back because Maguire doesn't have the speed. He can't play the ball in the way that we would if we had a Varane and a Licha there. It's also concerning, for lack of better terms, that we have Varane sitting on the bench when Maguire's out there. I don't know what's going on with Ten Hag and Varane, but they got to sort that shit out. You get to the point where I don't know. Again, I have no idea what's going on, but you got to play your best players. And when your best players are available to play, you have to play them. And so I don't know what's going on with that situation, but that's got to get sorted. And for the love of God, man, we got to sit Rashford for a couple of games. You all know, I love that guy. Got the jersey right there, but he's been dreadful. It's circa 2 years ago how bad he is at the current moment. There's a ton of clips all over social media, and of course, it's going to get a lot of attention of him just not tracking back, him not, doing anything, passing the ball out of bounds. It looks so bad, and it is that bad. It's terrible. So I don't know. I think Mainu had a great game. He played as that solo six. We probably should have had Amrabat next to him in McTominay's role. Newcastle's midfield just ran all over us. It was a great display by them. They could have found the net a lot more than they actually did, and whatever. We got demolished in that first half. So yeah, that's kind of like my perspective. I went into it thinking we were going to get battered by a couple of goals, and we only lost 1-0. So
Henry, what do you think? What do you think's the biggest drop off for Marcus Rashford this year? Because I mean, it's night and day, brother. It's really bad.
Fiance.
yeah, I mean, it might be it. Dude, what's difficult is I'm gonna compare him to like Darwin Nunez, right? So like Darwin,
That's a terrible start.
well,
Yeah, that's not looking good.
no, but here's the thing. So like Darwin, we give him a lot of shit for missing a lot. But something that you'll never ever ever question with him is his work rate. He gets himself into the right position, and he might hit the post, he might drag a ball wide, but like we've talked about this before. It seems to not affect him in the slightest bit. Like he's going to be just as psychotic the next play. He's going to try something crazy. He's going to do whatever, but he always works his ass off. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Rashford, on the other hand, when he is not on it, it looks like he doesn't even try. Like, I mean, we've all played together before. You could stick any one of us out there on the wing, and at least we would put in like a track back, or we'd make a run, or we'd whatever. It's like he's playing in this like idea that he is this like untouchable player, and so I think like the drop off is the work rate, and I sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, whatever, but you can't give up working hard, and that seems to be the first thing that's out the door with him. And when you're not working hard, you're not prepared for when a ball actually drops at your feet, and like it all goes together. But for me, it's just the work rate, like it's just not there. And so what's like kind of like a sobering thought, and it's not great to say, but it's like if he's not getting you goals, what does he provide to the team? Not much. You can say the same thing about Holland, for example. If Holland's not scoring goals, he sometimes is the worst player on the field. Like he touches the ball 8 times and he's kind of a ghost. But he also scores goals consistently at a rate that like no one else in the entire world can, and he can just do that. Marcus Rashford, on the other hand, like when he isn't scoring goals, which he's not, he just like sucks up space on the field, and it's bad. So again, just like we don't know what's going on with Varane, I don't know what's going on with the Rashford thing. Like you have to trust that Ten Hag's talking to him and like trying to work through that, but like why he keeps getting picked, I'm not sure. If for fuck's sake, if Jadon Sancho had any bit of humility in him and apologized to him, like apologized to Ten Hag a couple of months ago, Sancho would have like a free run in the team for months because Rashford isn't doing anything. So I don't know, man. It's really disappointing to watch, especially with him being like one of my favorite players in the world. Like it's really, really disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Dobes, what do you want to add to that?
I don't really have anything to say about Rashford. He's spot on in terms of Marcus. I don't know, man. There's very few things there's nothing in the world that I would schedule above a Man United game, that I would do above a Man United game. I've taken off work. I've skipped church. I've watched United in church. I've watched weddings. My entire life, like the next weekend is planned based around when they play. And I feel like the dumbest person in the world, just week in and week out, like planning everything around them just to sit my ass down and be depressed for 90 minutes. It's like it's seriously, it's the most frustrating thing in the entire world because like I echo everything that Henry said, but like the back line, we can't play a high back line. And then you have Kobe Mano, a guy who can keep the ball, who's great at possession, who can link up play, playing next to a Scott McTominay who can score goals but can't dribble straight. It's like there's no balance in the way that we're trying to play. And it's frustrating because from the first moment, and like, yes, St. James is a tough place to play. Yes, Newcastle's a good team. But at the same time, like that's not like an excuse. We can't just hold our hats on it like St. James is a tough place to play. Like you got to be able to beat those teams if you want to finish in the top four. Like that's directly who we're competing against. And you saw it midweek against Galatasaray, which we'll get into. And you saw it again this weekend. It's like the likes of Martial, the likes of Rashford, the likes of even Delo a little bit. It's like the effort needs to be there. You see a Garnacho who's finally getting chances and is busting his balls up and down the field. You see a Kobe Manu who's in the team. You even see a Maguire who's just lucky to be in the team, guys who have ambition. And then you have like a Rashford who just seems like he's going to be there no matter what. that doesn't put the effort in going up and down the field, and that's contagious. Like when you're a young guy and you see a 33 goal scorer like Mank through and through, not give that effort, like that's contagious through a team. Like JP actually said it, and I agree with it. Rashford's not a young guy anymore. He's a 26-year-old who's been there and done that. He should be the example. Like you don't need a Casemiro to be the example. You don't need a Varane to be an example. It's like you're a professional footballer. He's making $300-something thousand a week. Like be an example for the young guys. If you're not scoring, move up and down the field. And I think that's contagious through the entire team. It's like there's a few guys that are playing halfway decent and deserving runs in the team, but it's so overshadowed by just the lack of effort all around the pitch that's the outcome you'd expect. Like you saw 1-0. It could have been 4, 5, 6. We had one chance in the beginning of the game, and that was it. Like that was it for the rest of the game. And I think that's what's most like debilitating right now is like all of a sudden there's the 85th minute. And you heard the referee be like, United's finally mounting something here. It's like, dude, we're in the 85th minute down a goal. Like, what the fuck do you mean? And I think that's what's sort of depressing about watching this right now. And truthfully, I don't even think injuries are like the issue. It seems like it's more like a top-down mentality thing more so than it is, sliding Mount in or sliding get Casemiro in. It seems like an attitude thing. So
Yeah, like I think that's one of the things that's disappointing. Like even the goal that happens, like Wan-Bissaka just turns his brain off. Like I mean,
he's normally great at that too.
Yeah, he had a couple problems with that a couple of years ago, like that 2019-2020 season where he would just like literally fall asleep at the back post, but he's been so locked down. So like we don't have that happen. It's a 0-0 game. We sit here tonight, be like, fuck, that was a tough watch, but hey, point to point and we move, like whatever. But like that one thing where like it's like, yeah, the effort, the focus, it's just not there. I mean, even like to be a little bit critical, like Bruno plays that unbelievable ball to Garnacho at the beginning of the game, and he's one-on-one with the keeper and takes a bad touch and the ball gets stuck underneath him and he doesn't sod it home. Like the game, we have opportunities to do things. It just seems like all over, and it's not all doom and gloom. Like don't get me wrong, like in the Prem we've actually had like a pretty good run of games. This is the first game we've lost in quite a few, so like it's not like it's the end of the world, but it's just like one thing after another. It feels like we're just so back and forth as a team, and some of those guys like you mentioned, Dobes, like they just need to take a look in the mirror. And I wish that Ten Hag would kind of like have the nuts to just like sit Rashford for the next game, sit him, start Police Street out there, like sit McTominay, play Amrabat, play Donnie. I don't even care, just someone else.
Donnie's on your guys' team still?
Yeah, bro, he's still there.
Big Donald, bro.
He's confirmed to be leaving in January. Yeah, he's confirmed to be leaving in January.
Yeah, he'll be gone.
I
think he was on the bench.
That.
Yeah.
And you guys play Scotty?
Sure do.
That's insane.
The issue is the other people that would typically play in McTominay's position is like Mount, or you would have Casemiro in there, or like, you know what I mean? It's like, or Ericsson would typically play that role. We're injured right now, so we're stuck with Scooby-Doo.
Well, regardless, I thought your guys' analysis was both fantastic, Dobes and Henry. Very good analysis. Tough result for the lads, but we're going to slide on over to the back to London here. The Chelsea Blues with a 3-2 win over Brighton. Very controversial win. You can throw that in there.
Controversial? By who?
Oh, my God.
Who thinks it's controversial?
Well, there are some things that happen in the game that, just go ahead and tell me your thoughts first.
Yeah, I think I said it last week, and I hate that I have to say it again, but our captains getting red cards is absolutely laughable. I think we've also talked about it early on when we even were picking captains. Like the veteran and experience in a captain, I think, is really important. And I think it's another week that our captain makes a dumb mistake and gets 2 yellow cards in a game. That was an obvious red and completely changed the outcome of what was going on. I don't think we were playing brilliant football by any means. I think both of our first goals were off of corner set pieces that we conjured up. And Badiashile winning a head ball on the back post both times, crossing it across box and so on, getting on the end. I'm super pumped for Enzo scoring 2. He hasn't been on the scorer sheet in the Prem for us ever. So the fact that he was able to finally see the back of the net
Cost
was
yourself.
definite confidence for us. But the starting lineup, I thought we haven't had a consistent starting lineup, and I know we all are going to talk about injuries, but like we're consistently having injuries and red cards. Like by no fault to us are we able to put out the same consistent lineup. I also think Caicedo was lucky to not have a red as well. But yeah, all in all, I'm happy with 3 points against a Brighton side who's pretty good this season. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe the controversy is that red and maybe the pen. I think Mudryk was clear in on goal and that he had a chance to score if Milner doesn't touch him. I don't know how you can see it any other way unless you watch maybe 1 or 2 clips from the highlights. But in game, it was an obvious and clear pen. He was in on goal. But yeah, I also think Raheem Sterling had another stinker. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have on it.
Any comment on Nico Jackson's motivation methods?
He needs to switch them because whatever he's doing is not working because the man is atrocious on the ball.
Are we unaware of what his motivation methods are?
No, we do, but I just don't
Okay.
really look at that stuff. My Twitter or my X really isn't filled with that information. I guess some people's is and know who that is.
Bro.
Football Twitter's hilarious, bro. It was all over the place.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing
I was like, hell yeah. It was
He just had a
so
kid
funny.
too, man.
Bro.
He just had a kid.
I gave
Bro.
him a retweet.
Nick, I'm going to throw this out there. Moises Caicedo is buns.
And he 100%
He's buns.
deserved to be sent off.
Buns.
I thought 2 of his fouls after he already had that yellow were all worse than Gallagher's second tackle. Like
I don't disagree with you on that at all.
Like there's no way you guys should have even 10 guys with 30 minutes left. In my
Well,
opinion.
Gallagher's there's a couple of things that go into that, but I definitely agree with you. Caicedo was lucky. I don't think he's buns, as Butch puts it. But I definitely expect more from him, especially for the price tag. And also, obviously, against your old team, like I would expect you to put in a better performance than that. That could have also like played into it, like back performing against his old side at, I don't know. But I don't think he's buns. I also think when he's on, it frees up Enzo a lot. Which is something that I enjoy is seeing Enzo more attacking instead of having to track back and play defensive as much as he does when Caicedo's not on the pitch. The back 4 too, like Jesus Christ, we had 4 center backs playing in our back 4, and it's just not fun.
Yeah.
I'd rather have 4 center backs than 4 wing backs, to be honest.
That's true.
Bro, Emerson Royale was too worried about his next rap video going viral.
Yeah.
That motherfucker wasn't even paying attention, bro. Oh my God.
I thought that pen was. I thought it was soft. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was Stonewall. I don't find contact in the box equals penalty, which is what that one kind of felt like. I don't think it was a push from behind.
Yeah, that's a good take.
There could be a little bit of contact and it not be a pen. I think the phrase we use a lot is it would be a foul anywhere else on the field. I'm not sure that one would be a foul anywhere else on the field. I think that contact kind of moves on. Mudryk goes to the ground, throws his arms up, and everybody plays. That was my opinion on it. It was extremely soft, but if you want to take that, then
I think that's one of those fouls where if you dissect it in real time and you can see his foot plant before his, then Mudryk's foot hit the back of his heel, and it's like there's contact. The VAR is always going to stop that and call it.
Yeah.
I think that's what the problem with it is. I think that's what the problem with it is. It's like when you do reverse it, it's like you can zoom in and find the contact on his ankles, but it's like I don't necessarily know if like Milner's trying to foul on them. It's like yes, there's contact, but it's what happens in the box. But that's the issue with VAR. It's like they're going to stop it, they're going to freeze frame it, they're going to zoom on it and be like, "Yep, he stepped first, his ankle hit him, and it's a foul." So it's like that's why I think it sucks because when you zoom it in, they're going to call it. But I don't think it's necessarily contact worthy of a pen if you're just looking at it.
Which is interesting though, because for this one, and this is just my opinion, like in game, I thought it was clear and obvious, and then when they went back to VAR, that's when I was like, oh, okay, I can see where people may question it now, but like in game, like he was away, he was in on goal, and he was taken down. Like that's what I thought it looked like complete and in game. And then when they kind of showed the VAR review, I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't as much contact as I initially thought. But I do agree with you that happens majority of the time.
Well, regardless, Nick, congratulations on a good win. Definitely climbing up the table. You went from 12th to 10th.
We went
You
from
know,
10th to 10th.
Oh, well, 10th to 10th.
I remember that because they showed the points at the bottom. I was like, holy fuck, they moved to 10th.
No, hey, no banner aside, congrats on the win. Next game up, arguably, I know we've said it a few times this season already, but arguably one of the games of the year. Liverpool Fulham 4-3. Some late drama.
Ooh, game of the year.
Huh?
For you, it's a game
I
of
was
the
gonna
year.
say I had to watch highlights for this, bro.
Yeah, no one gave a fuck.
Dude, you guys can all lick
Sick.
me. Lick ma, bro. Did you not see the worldies in this game that we're going to
That's
talk
the
about?
only. That's the only reason we're talking about this game is because you guys had the inability to score tap-ins, but worldly after worldly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Still
just
don't know
like
how to play defense.
it was a pretty poor defensive game, I will say. But it was just like
game of the
back
year,
and
though.
forth.
Game of the year.
Game of the year, bro. I'm telling you.
Where did Endo pull that out of his butt, bro?
Seriously.
Yeah, well, it's just like it was so back and forth. You start off with Trent, who scores. Well, they marked it as an own goal, but he hit a banger of a free kick, top corner.
Own goal.
That sucks. That was a nice free kick.
It was a beautiful free kick.
Playing in the midfield. Just playing in the midfield.
Like-
Hey, listen, I'm a phone clop after I get off this call, bro. I'm gonna put my word through. And then the former Liverpool lad, Harry Wilson, ties it. And then 10 minutes later, McAllister hits the goal of his life on the half volley. Hopefully, all of you have seen it, but my God.
He can't do that again if he tried. Yeah.
I mean, dude, that thing was
He was
moving.
shocked. Did you see his celly? He was like,
he had no idea what to do.
To be fair, as a defensive midfielder, you don't score many like that. So he probably was a little confused on how to celebrate. But and then Fulham puts a dagger in the hearts of Liverpool fans right before halftime and scores. And I text Griff because it was the softest fucking goal I've ever seen in my life. And we didn't have Allison in this game, obviously, and that was a huge loss for us, the biggest loss for us, not having the best goalie in the league. And we had Keller playing, who, Griff, you agreed with me when I got to your house, didn't know what the hell he was doing on that goal. I don't know, man. Like, the biggest thing for me is, like, when you lose Allison, things get shaky. And our defense was not good. You guys already mentioned it. The defensive effort was not good at all. Virgil was okay. Matip was okay. Obviously, we don't talk about Trent's defending very much. And then
We should do a
Simakas.
deep dive.
Huh?
We should do a deep dive on his defending.
it would only take 5 minutes. It's non-existent.
Hey, I wouldn't. That's a little bit of a stretch, Nick, to say non-existent. But you can go down a few levels, and I'll be okay with that. Okay?
I would love to see the plus minus of Trent's like goals for / goals given up. Like I really would.
It would be such a funny analysis to do Rashford's defensive effort next to Trent's, like just to see.
Yeah, and one
After what
plays
we've seen.
wing back though.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro. Well,
bro.
regardless, it's 3 points. And shout out to Endo, scored his first Premier League goal. Beautiful goal. And then Trent again at the end. If you take away the own goal, but 2 goals in the last 2 games against City, and then 1 against City, 1 against Fulham, and 1 got us a point, 1 won us 3 points. So he's been coming up clutch. And
It's
he's
the
been
boots.
The boots.
Goal. Little
boots,
shove in the
baby.
back on the last goal, man.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah,
this
dude.
was a foul for
Butchie,
sure.
hypothetical.
Griff.
Butchie, let me give you a hypothetical. Listen here.
A little shove.
CBC Lafayette district quarterfinal game. Right? Ball's whipped to the back post. I'm not going to use any of our players' names. One of our players is going up to head the ball. One of the CBC players comes full elbow straight through his back, and our player goes down. Are you not losing your mind?
Yeah, I'm hot as a Sahara Desert, bro.
They didn't review it, man. They didn't even
look
at it. They just
Yeah, I'd be.
My phone, I was not watching this game. I was at work, and so my phone was blowing up about it being a foul. I was like, what are these guys talking about? I watched the highlights last night. There couldn't be a more clear foul at the back post.
Back.
It was insane. It was crazy.
I've watched it a few times because at first, when I got to Griff's house and we were talking about it and fighting about it, I said that the Fulham guy was soft as Charmin. And then I've watched it a few times since, and I will agree. I think you could have blew that as a foul.
You think?
I think you could have. I think that could have gone the other way. So
Here's the
we'll
though.
take
The
it.
first video I saw was it side by side with Kukurea on Holland, and I laughed.
Yeah, dude. So that's a thing. And how many goals have we seen getting called back for a foul in the buildup? 15 yards behind the play, and it's like crazy. That was literally affecting the guy's ability to head the ball, and it's no foul. Like that makes no sense to me.
No, look, I'm agreeing with you. I've watched it many times on TikTok and Twitter. It looks like a foul now. I've had 24 hours to decompress my mind and just analyze. Oh, I just made that word up.
Analysis.
I like that. Let's keep
And
that.
and look at it.
Title of the episode, fellas.
Yeah.
Analyze.
Molder of young minds.
Yeah.
Analyze.
The teacher of our children.
Bro, I could never teach language arts. I'll tell you straight up.
He can
Hell
teach a
no.
foreign language.
Yeah,
Language is easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, regardless, we get the 3 points. We're in second place. We're 2 points behind Griff. Griff and I said it to each other yesterday. We're just two of the happiest chaps in St. Louis right now. We're just two of the happiest chaps in the state of Missouri. Life is good for us. And then when we whoop Griff's ass at the Emirates, I will be even happier. Oh, it's at Anfield.
War trophy.
Hold on you last year.
What'd you say, Griff?
The double on last year.
At Anfield, we should have done the double on you, man. I'm not scared.
Yeah,
of you
but
guys.
shoulda, woulda, coulda, huh?
Yeah.
You didn't, So the first game, Griff, is actually December 23rd. It's at Anfield. So
That'd be electric.
I
That's
love the
gonna be-
Christmas fixtures.
Oh yeah.
we love it. We're here for it. We're gonna have
Yeah.
some great episodes around that
Yeah.
time, brother. Moving on to the last game of the weekend, Man City Tottenham. Holy shit, what a game, bro. Hoove, you got a lot to talk about here. I know you've just been gearing up over there. You look red as a cherry, just ready to explode, bruv.
The
Just let
other
it
game
fly.
of the season that happened this weekend.
Actual.
And I feel like Spurs have been a part of like 5 different
Yeah,
games this
several
season
of them.
already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
where do you want me to start, boys? What are you thinking here? We played that game. All right. Ange Postecoglou played Emerson Royale, our backup right back, next to Ben Davies, our backup left back, at right and center back. They started the game, and that's what we had to do. That's all that we had available
Against Manchester City.
against Manchester City away in the Emirates, where we're not, it's not like a crazy, St. James-esque fan fortress or anything when Pep's asking for.
It's not Luton, brother.
It's not Luton. It's not that tough a place to play, apparently. But yeah, like all the pundits were saying they're talking their shit too, and like there's a little bit of me that before the game was like, Micah Richards might be right. Spurs going to the Emirates to try and out Pep with a team missing 7 to 8 starting, players in general. Kind of an asinine thing to do, if you think about it in hindsight. But it's exactly what they fucking did. So they, things that I will concede on now before I really start to spout it. City should have put us away in the first half. City had 3 or 4 opportunities to bag goals. Alvarez
Holland
hit the
had
post.
3 or 4.
Yeah, Alvarez hit the post. Doku hit the crossbar and the post. Holland had a sitter, maybe 2 sitters that he
Sitters.
just completely fluffed. That 100% kept Spurs in the game. That first goal is just that's so stereotypical Spurs against Man City. Like
It's prime Sunny, man.
it's
Yep.
prime Sunny, and there's a lot of questions I think you can ask on what's his name? Ederson. Yeah, freak. There's a lot of questions on that first goal, and I think there's some maybe through the rest of the game he made some questionable decisions, but that was classic. Letting them get back in it, they were all from individual errors. Like every single goal they scored was from an individual error, and when you do that against City, they're going to punish you. That's just what it is. So were we lucky to not go in at half 3-1, 4-1, maybe even down? Yes. They were out and out the best team in the second half. They came out completely different. Højbjerg shored up the middle a lot, which the jury's out on him for me a little bit. I think he is consistent, and I think he would be one of the best midfielders at a lot of teams, 8 and below in the Premier League. But sometimes you just need that steady hand to be able to slow the game down, play through the middle a little bit more with some composure. He definitely did that. Brennan Johnson's electric. I think we definitely got a player, and we knew he was a player at Nottingham too, but he's still super young. He went toe to toe with City. Like the individual performances from young guys stepping up is like the coolest thing ever. And we're maybe watching Kulusevski become one of the best conversation for one of the better wingers this year. And I think he's having to do it because the rest of the attacking force of Spurs is kind of thin right now. So he's kind of putting it on his back. He played the 10 role in the first half, which I thought he was great last week at, but shifted out to the right when Højbjerg came in. He was so good. And he always looks so positive on the ball. He's such a good dribbler. He doesn't score many goals with his head, but 89th minute, guess who? Brennan Johnson to Declan Kulusevski or Dejan Kulusevski.
He dunked on Ake.
He dunked on Ake.
Dunked on Ake.
The replay, like I've watched these highlights so many times since yesterday already. But like he put Ake in a blender. The slow-mo of him getting up over him makes connection with his shoulder, maybe it was head, and nobody really knows, but he actually spun Ake like 180 degrees. The slow-mo is hysterical. You should definitely look it up. But this Ange thing's insane. That's insane. What he decided to do and his way of going about it is insane. They had no right to get off that field with a point. I didn't make one noise watching this game next to my girlfriend. Like first goal goes in, I just look at her like there's no way. Like amped, pumped. She was pumped. We're all pumped. But, I knew this was a long match. It was gonna be a roller coaster. Every time they scored, I was like, yeah, that's City probably, with Emerson Royale, blowing it through the middle, Basuma trying to nutmeg Rodri 10 yards outside of his own box.
Dumbass.
Basuma had a rough one for sure. And I think that's, a comeback from a suspension, few games not in form, but every time they kept coming back. Like Gio Lo Celso, I haven't even mentioned his name. He's got 2 in the last 2. Like we're getting prime loan Real Betis Lo Celso right now.
It's a class goal.
It was a class goal. Who cares if he goes missing with Argentina? He's still playing 90 minutes. I don't know. Give him a shout. Messi wants him on the field. So, these guys are stepping up. It's huge. It's so cool. Ange is the architect. I don't know, I don't blame him for results previously. Obviously, there's a lot of injury situation, but there were a lot of things that, if we just sat back and held onto the ball for a bit, we'd be fine and coast out that Wolves game or whatever. You can take a look at all of them. But that's not what he's going to do. That's not what he wants them to do. It's not how he's going to instruct them. They're always going to leave themselves a little bit open. but the concept is score more goals, just score more goals. And yeah, they did it with the back line of 4 wingbacks. So like, and 2 of them are inverted, not even playing in that wing. Like, I none of this makes sense to me. This doesn't make sense. So this is the biggest point of the year so far. Like the big 6 teams we've played this year outside of Chelsea, we've pulled results from all of them, and then most of the fixtures now are the return fixtures. So,
What a
I'm not even worried
statement
about
that is,
Chelsea.
baby. I love that. Give me
Enjoy
my flowers. I don't have many. Come on, give me
Enjoy
one.
10th, brother.
Oh,
Yeah, that
I-
game was a sham. Nico Jackson's hat trick. He needs more nudes from Astrid Wet or something. But
4 goals in the whole front 3 of
Hey,
United,
don't say
baby.
that around Nick. Don't say that around Nick.
Yeah, isn't it on his timeline? It might pop up on his TikTok.
yeah, I don't need to just spout off, but like that's the most encouraging thing I've ever seen, and this whole season's been super encouraging. This is the best Tottenham I've seen maybe since like 2017 when they bottled it. Like, there's just no way around seeing the positivity of the club, and the players that aren't playing and still being able to pull off this ridiculous result only tells me that if we go to the Etihad with a healthy 11, I truly think it's a completely different game, and I think it's a lot more competitive. I said in the group, which I did not stand by, nor can I stand by, that we would play them off the park because that's just not true. But I think we get 3 points. I think 2 of those goals at least don't concede because Romero or Van de Ven aren't, idiots. And to be fair, Davies played himself, into keeping that left center back role as long as Van de Ven's out. So, the call that we can talk about.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
I'm gonna mention it.
What was
Wild.
it? What? Why did he blow that whistle?
Wild.
He did not need to blow that whistle. There was a slide tackle on Holland, clipped him, 100%, definitely a foul. He put his arm out and said play on, and then as soon as that ball was lifted over the top, he blew the whistle.
Grealish was gone.
good.
Though.
Yeah.
Gone.
Grealish was gone, and he didn't. It's not like he ran in, scored, and there was he still has to go make that finish. It's still, the play's not over, but he was going to be 1-on-1. So I understand the controversy on that one, and I agree with it wholeheartedly as a fan of the game, and something of a rules and snob in my opinion. I don't know why I blew that whistle. The comment that makes me feel better is, Pep coming out and saying that he's not going to pull on Arteta and say anything about the refs. He said the last call of the game is not the reason that we didn't win that game. He's like, it was the players' performances. That is what Guardiola said.
That's a manager.
Man,
That's a manager.
Arteta, man.
I loved that comment. I thought that was hysterical. But yeah, it was an insane call. Would have had a 1-on-1. Game could have been completely different.
I think he would have gotten caught, to be honest with you. Watching it, like, he was in front of him, but
he was stumbling.
Jack Grealish is not the fastest player on the pitch. I think he would have gotten caught for sure.
By no means is
to be
Davies
fouled.
either.
I think it came out today that it's not official what the punishment is, but Holland's going to be punished by the FA for like his reaction.
I'm sure.
Oh, really?
So yeah, he's going to be punished to the referee.
They
Dude,
charged us. They charged us for the same
his
shit.
faces were insane, and rightfully so. I'd be just as mad as he was, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, Dobes, you might have punched the ref in the face if that was you.
That-
Yeah.
That's like the only scenario in a game that you can comfortably just like in playing defense, 89th minute, couple more minutes to go, clean him. You just clean Jack Grealish, take the red card,
100%.
go off the field.
Yep.
That's a game-saving, point-saving play potentially. So
Yes.
I don't know if they do that. But I guess we'll never know.
It's so fun to watch the Man City players complain and like surround the ref. For all the years they've been great, it's just so much fun, man. Just seeing them.
Is it fun for you because you can see yourself in them? Like you see like the Arsenal players doing it week after week, and it's like, oh, we're all the same.
They always think they
Maybe
always
we'll
say
win
they're
a title
taking the
now.
higher road. Oh, we're taking the higher road, and then against us, they're crying after we beat them, and then it's beautiful. It's like I ate it, man. It was awesome.
The best part when it happens to City too is like there's no City fans on Twitter. At least I see zero of them. So when something goes bad, like you don't even have to see the bitching because there's no fans that do it.
Everyone else is just making fun of them.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, that was
the
impressive
meme
getting
of,
out of there with a point. And my respect level for Ange went up even more getting a point from yesterday's game.
Guys got nuts, bro. Insane nuts. He and Pep had a quick conversation after the match too. I'd do anything to find out what was said between them because he's just joked about it the whole time in the media. Like the media's like, "Well, you're just trying to be like Pep," and he's like, "Everyone's trying to be like Pep." We're like, "What do you mean?" Of course, he's like, "Not stylistically, but guys won everything. One of the best managers ever." Like he's outspoken with his respect and whatnot for Pep. They're not the same manager though. Pep's gonna have 7 different styles of how he wants these guys to play. Ange has one. You're gonna know what's gonna happen, and and the objective is that you won't be able to stop it regardless of how you set up. So it's the nuts are huge.
Balls to the wall or no balls at all for Ange, man.
Literally.
Flip it.
Hey, clip it. 9 men, we'll still have a go. We could be down to 5. We'll still have a go.
Still have a go, Mike. Well, that concludes our Premier League recap from this past weekend. We've got something awesome coming up here in this next segment. Something different, something unique that makes us the Mecca of fucking banner, people. Okay, and you know what? The group chat was blowing up today, and it was decided that we are going to pick as a group the top 5 footballers that we would want to go party with and have a night on the town with. And this is awesome because
a disclaimer in here as well.
huh?
Like disclaimer, we would not do anything that they have said or done in their past.
That is true. That is true.
This
As
is
you
a
guys know,
hypothetical night out. Yeah.
exactly. We're drinking Coca-Colas. We're getting home at 11 o'clock, lighting a candle, going to sleep. Okay. So no, but 5
Jurgens.
Yo, dude, bro. This is the top 5 footballers we would party with. I'm gonna go around. I want you guys to throw some ideas out of some players. Give us a quick reason why. Then we're gonna pick our top 5, and we gotta agree, right?
Okay.
So I want Henry to start. I want to hear some Henry's picks.
Okay.
And let's hear what we got.
It's a bit of a rogue shout to start, but just from listening to his podcast, I feel like he's a gem. Peter Crouch is on my list. Like, I feel like he's just like
Good one.
the stories he has. He just is like a locker room guy. I feel like he'd be so fun. Number 2, I have Neymar. The man knows how to party. He throws unbelievable parties. He's about that action, and I think that would be fun. And I'll give one more. I'll go outside of the Brazilians because I feel like I could name 5. I'm gonna say Wayne Rooney, just because you don't know what you're getting yourself into, but you know you're having a good time.
He's high up my list.
Yeah,
So,
I'll throw up those 3.
My story on Rooney, I have a bunch here, and I've just wrote little anecdotes. But the one, his punching celebration in the corner where he got knocked back and fell over, that it was from he and his mates being blackout drunk at his house at a party, fighting each other. Just classic English boy boxing scrap. He got knocked out. Next weekend, scores a banger, fist pump to the corner, gets knocked out. Hysterical.
It's so good.
So
Bro,
good.
I feel like Gazza would be an absolute legend in the club. Legend. Seriously. Rooney's a dog, bro.
Yeah,
Dog.
Dog.
Is he from Liverpool? Is he Scouse?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's
he's Everton boy. He's an
Everton boy.
Evertonian.
Fan growing up, yeah.
He is a proper Scouse kid.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. All right, next up, we're gonna go over to Hafey. Hafey, throw me some footballers you would want to go on a night on the town with, mate.
I think he's probably on all of our list, and Henry said it best with the Brazilians. I feel like they definitely know how to party, but literally I've thought this from the moment. Not only do I think he had some of the best football to watch, but Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Some of those stories that I've heard of him going out and just even like throwing parties, I feel like he would be a really good person for that. The other one, honestly, just because not only the documentary, but just because of like even watching Goal, like as a little kid, like that whole Goal 2 episode with Real Madrid. David Beckham's definitely up there for me. I just feel like he would be a good timeout.
My biggest issue with Bex is that, you know, he was kind of a liability with Posh.
Yeah, but
He
he
was
got
a
you. He
liability.
got you to the party, and then he was
yeah.
gone, and then he.
Oh, yeah.
David.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know though, bro. It's like, do you want all that paparazzi when you're going to try to have a good time with the lads? Like,
Exactly.
gotta put
Exactly.
that,
That's a
put
good
that in
thought.
consideration.
He's one of the first footballers to get truly tabloided.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, that situation was
Another.
he was
I'll do
leaked.
another honorable mention that I had was Carlos Tevez, just because like in lieu of us talking about this, I like looked up some stories, and all of them like they were like, this guy was going crazy, and then I realized it was Carlos Tevez. Like every story said that. That was just hilarious.
Great picks, bro. I like those. Let's slide over to Dobes. What do you got?
I got a long list over here. I feel like
Shoot
the
us
one
in the top.
I can't believe this guy hasn't been said yet, but like Diego Maradona has to be like very top of this list. Like, I don't really need to go into detail a lot about his activities off the field, but I think it's pretty well known that he'd be a good guy to go out with.
Once again, folks, we do not partake in the same activities of the people we have
Of
mentioned.
course not.
No, of course not. I also have a few like random ones.
The Colombian Bam Bam back then was in excess, you could say.
I have a few random ones. Jamie Vardy has to be.
That's a great shout. That's a
He's-
great
I had
shout.
He's one of the only guys to have his song is literally Jamie Vardy's having a party. So like he has to be on the list. I'm gonna go the third one. I'm gonna go old school for you all. It's a United Legends, George Best. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the stories about George Best, but like his most famous quote is something like, "I spent a lot of money on booze, birds, and cars. The rest I just wasted," or something like that.
Yes.
He's like one of the best players of all time. One of the best
What a
players of all
line.
time, dude, Northern Irish dude. And then also on my night out, I feel like you got to have somebody for like a nightcap, like maybe a glass of wine, maybe like a nice little.
Ooh.
I went with Andrea Pirlo.
Yeah, bro. Knew exactly where that was going.
I went with
Nice.
Pirlo.
Love
so
that
Pirlo-
little twist.
And then because I didn't want to be sexist, we're an all-inclusive podcast. My last pick was Alicia Lehman. I feel like just a fantastic gal, probably wonderful night on the town. So that concludes my list.
She's terrifying, dude. She scares the shit out of me.
I like
Yeah,
your
just-
list, Dobes. That's fantastic.
Topsy
What's
was
the-
another one that I feel like would be a good glass of wine with.
Dude, George Best shout reminds me of like Wilt Chamberlain. Like
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain, one of the best scoring NBA centers of all time, also claims he had sex with like 20,000 women or something.
His George Best United chant is literally to spirit in the sky. And the last part of it is like, when I die and they lay me to rest, I want to go on the piss with Georgie Best. Is how the chant goes.
That's great, bro. All right, next up, Griff. You got anybody, Griff?
Maradona too, because I've just seen the videos and I'm like, I know that guy was fun, bro. I had Jamie Vardy. The other one I was surprised, Jack Grealish.
Yeah,
know
DJ
that guy
Grillo.
parties,
DJ
man.
Grillo.
DJ Grillo goes. I was gonna say Lord Bentner. Remember Nicholas?
Dude, I've got him right here.
Lord Bentner, you know that guy has some nights, bro. Good Lord.
All right, so I did a ton of reading today about some of these guys and their former exploits, but Bentner was apparently he wrote a book. He told everything. They called him the Arsenal concierge. So anytime that you couldn't get a table at a restaurant you wanted to, he'd call the restaurant, be able to get 2 more seats at the table. Exclusive nightclubs, he would call the nightclub, tell them that a couple of his boys are coming in. And apparently Mesut Ozil was one of his biggest clients as people needing favors. There were rumors that he left Real Madrid because of his partying style, attitude. And
Ozil?
Ozil, and I guess he went out with Bentner like 4 nights in a row in London, and he was just taking him to different places. And Bentner was like, he wasn't reckless, like he wasn't like a liability. He just loved going out and was like a smooth talker with ladies. So,
You don't become a lord without the backstory.
oh yeah,
And that's the big one.
they were using his apartment as like the party spot when he was at Arsenal.
That's so funny.
So much, man. He didn't play for like 3 years. They just kept him on the team because he knew he could recruit and have the lads have a night, man.
He is the definition locker room guy.
Yeah, literally.
Heck yeah.
The only other one I had, I said with Dobes, like have a glass of wine with Arsene Wenger. That's a chill night though. You're just talking soccer at that point.
Might put you to bed.
Surprised nobody chose John Terry.
Leave your wife at home, bro. Leave your wife at home.
You want to talk about the opposite of a locker room guy?
Poor Wayne Bridge.
Yeah, I still think that photo is so funny of them sitting on the bench and Terry's like, and Wayne Bridge is just, it's so good.
Who we got
Oh man,
that we haven't named? I mean,
that we haven't named. I've got a couple, and a few of them I'm not even gonna name just because some of the things they were doing is like I wouldn't condone normally even, but they're funny stories, like Kyle Walker hosting a sex party in COVID of 2020 during lockdown. That was pretty funny. Wouldn't do that. Not someone I want to hang out with by any means. But
It made your list though, Hoob.
I wrote him down for kind of funny. Who's so my legitimate ones, and another guy that I didn't really watch, but some of these old cats, especially the Brazilians,
Older ones are the best.
Yeah, because there
Social
was
media. Yep.
Yeah, they could do whatever they wanted. I guess Romario, when he was playing at Barcelona for Johan Cruyff in the late '90s, he was one of the top guys that popped up every time I searched this. Friday night was his party night, and it was known and established within the club that he went out on Friday because that's like that was just what he understood was what it was. And his quote that he told the media or told somebody, "Partying makes me happy, and when I'm happy, I score goals." He would sleep all Saturday, show up to the game, and do that, would literally bag goals. There was a story about one night he asked for 2 days off to fly back to Rio de Janeiro and go to like the Rio de Janeiro like festival, like
Carnival or whatever.
Carnival, yeah.
Bro, the Brazilian Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he told
literally.
he told Cruyff that if he scores a double in the next game that he has to give him the 2 days off, and Cruyff was like, okay. Scored his second goal in 20 minutes and apparently looked over to the bench and was like, yeah, I'm out. My flight leaves in an hour.
Good
me off.
It's just man management.
He did the same thing at the World Cup. He was out partying in the '98 World Cup. They won. He was the player of the tournament. That's what I mean. That's the coolest thing ever. Like, just love that. And apparently he wasn't like a huge boozer. He just liked to dance and like go to discotheques and like that was his thing. Whatever. I'll leave him. I didn't want to say all Brazilian guys. It just seems that they've got the best stories. I had Bentner pretty high on my list. Verratti apparently loves a night out, but apparently it's like almost like sad kind of that he's just kind of sort of just like pissing his career away by like smoking and drinking every night. That's kind of general consensus online.
There's a place for that guy on one night out though.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's got the spots. Roberto Carlos is like not only one of my favorite players. Again, didn't watch him a ton, but you can watch any 10-minute clip and fall in love with the guy. He was so amazing on the pitch. He also loved parties and would have buses of women pull up to his house on a Monday night. They didn't train till 11 a.m. when they were at Madrid, so it was all kind of bets were off for those guys. So. Like there were stories even about how like Figo and Beckham and some of these guys would go to the parties and like sometimes they were too unhinged even for them. Like they had to leave the nights early. because the parties were that insane. And I also want him taking my free kicks on Saturday morning. So like that ranks really high up on my list. Those are probably mine. I had Ronaldo, the OG Ronaldo. I'm surprised he had anything to
R9's on
say.
mine too.
R9 would bring up buses of women too. That was kind of just the thing they did. Foden.
Sometimes buses of dudes too.
Yeah, they were kind of like, didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Yeah.
Foden's in there.
Just gotta say Wilshere again.
Jack, yeah.
Have to say Wilshere.
Mhm.
He seems like another one of those kind of just like dirtbag English guys that you want to go
It's like,
get on the piss at the pub. Yeah.
I saw Mario Balotelli used a lot.
Oh, dude.
And was
yeah, how do we not
thrown
say
out.
him?
We there's a story like the Romario story. There's a story of Eden Hazard that when he was still playing for Lille, when he was young, he was out one morning till like 4 a.m. of the day of a game and showed up and scored like a 40-minute hat trick in the first half. And when he was celebrating the third goal, he looked at all of his mates and they were like, he still smelled like alcohol, like from the night before, and hat trick in the first half.
You know he parties, and you know he's good for a night out because he literally went to Madrid to do just that and not actually even play football. He got
He's retired
in like 2 years. Yeah, it's insane.
He's
I love
32 and retired.
Hazard's a
Good
good
for
one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Butchie, what about you? What'd you say?
Bro, a few of mine got taken. I only have 2 on my list that didn't.
Okay.
My first one is Ashley Cole.
Why?
Bro, I just feel like he was a psycho, bro. And he tossed in upper decky Zinnichinis, bro. He used to do snoozies, little snooserooskies. I would totally bum a snooze off Ashley Cole. 100%. I'd say, my boy, can I get one?
My boy.
He was similar to like Bex though. I feel like back then he was all in the tabloids, and like anytime he'd go out, I feel like he was
a
everywhere.
lot of that English team just ended up becoming super mega famous.
True, that's very true.
Mm-hmm. And then my other one, again, seems like a psycho. I would put Rodrigo DePaul in there. I feel like that dude can party. I feel like, and I got a personal bodyguard for the night, bro.
protection,
I'm totally down for that. Like, I got a
Christian
bodyguard.
Romero.
Huh?
I was gonna say Christian Romero could be another one. He's a psychopath.
Bro, I feel like
family man.
I feel like
Oh, he is.
Promise.
who?
Romero's a family man. Got a couple kids. Loves just being at home with the wife.
There ain't no way, bro.
Yeah, ain't no way, bro. I feel like Sergio Aguero liked the night out.
Luis Suarez was one I saw.
Gerard Piqué?
Luis Suarez is my guy.
Well,
of color.
PK's still going out now that he's single.
Yeah, don't condone their actions, but Piqué?
Yeah.
Who was the I forget his name, Roy on Man United, the old guy?
Roy Keane.
Roy Keane. I heard a story about him the other day. Would have never put him on my list if it wasn't for this. But they were doing a preseason thing in Chicago, and he took a bunch of the United young kids out to a strip club, and they were all caught by the paparazzi. And next day, the team's calling him, his mom's calling him, and he's doing nothing but denying the story. He's like, it wasn't us. He's like, what do you mean it was the United kids? It absolutely wasn't us. Like that projected him back into my ranking because that you want a guy that's going to A, bang heads for you at the bar should need be, and he will be the first to do that. And B, cover your story. He's smart about it.
Here's a picture. That's not me.
He literally was just like they had him,
team now.
Bro,
they had him
that
dead
is
to rights.
wild. That is wild.
So
Oh my
funny.
god.
I don't know if we're ever gonna come with a 5.
All right, so we got to come up with a quick top 5.
I don't think there's any way.
I'm gonna
Maradona
I'm
I think's in there.
I think Jamie Vardy's got to be in it, bro.
I think Jamie Vardy's in there too.
I think Vardy's a great shout.
I think he crosses off our
The whole
our
thing.
Scouse English pub night out guy.
I
feel
Neymar in there,
like-
too.
Just pick one from each category.
Okay. I would say like Maradona, Vardy. I feel like we have to put Ronaldinho in it. If we don't, we're horrible.
Captain.
He built a nightclub in his basement in Paris and Barcelona.
Yeah. On the list.
That would be 3. I mean, you could toss in,
I
bro,
don't think Rooney's a
Nicholas
bad
Bentner,
shout.
bro. Nicholas Bentner.
I don't think I like Bentner because he brings so many other aspects. German, he's not an English guy, lived in London, but he knew the London lifestyle.
We forgot
Was
all those
connected-
Germans.
Was
Jeez.
connected with everybody.
Yeah, I think that's
Bettner-
also it's an if you know shout.
I feel like Bentner could be 4. Balotelli could be in it.
I mean,
Peter Crouch seems like an absolute lunatic. Bro.
I like the Peter Crouch shout, and the first story I remember was, did you hear about his like wedding day? Like his wife woke up on his wedding day and he was still outside from the night before, hammered with his best men at like 6 o'clock in the
Oh
morning.
my god.
He like saw her in the corner of the eye, and like she like went back inside, and he ran into his bed and said he pulled his covers up, and his wife ran in and yeeted him off, and he just had a beer sitting there. And ever since then, I agree. I think Crouch is a great shout.
I feel like Crouchy's like a super good dude too.
He is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whereas I think some of these shouts, historically, some of these guys might not be, great people. I think Crouchy's a good dude.
Piece of shit, a lot of them.
Yeah, but just likes to get after it.
Dude, I'm cool with that as the top 5, and then we got to rank them. Maradona, Vardy, Ronaldinho, Crouchy, and Bentner.
Oh god.
I don't know if we can rank them. I think I'm good with that as our 5.
I'm good with the Lord at 1.
The Lord,
The Lord at 1, and we
Ronaldinho or Maradona.
We could just say that they're our starting 5-5-a-side team.
Yeah.
There we go. Our starting 5-a-side team that we would go a night on the town with is Diego Maradona, Jamie Vardy, Ronaldinho, Peter Crouch, and Nicholas Bentner, Lord
I
Bentner.
love that.
That's starting 5, bro.
Imagine those 5 guys walk into a bar.
Yeah.
You're about to get thrown into it.
Oh. Well, that'll be it for tonight's episode, folks. Thank you for tuning in. As always, follow us on the social medias. We appreciate your support. On behalf of the boys and our special guest, Nathaniel Griffin, we are signing off for the evening. We appreciate you guys. Peace and love, bro.
Cheers.
Yeah.